one thing that nobody's asked about that oftentimes somebody asks about, and I think is really underappreciated, is the value of these checklists that people talk about. And it's sort of one of these things where if you don't have one and you don't use it, nobody will ever know. So you can just go through life without a checklist. But if you do have it and use it, it'll save you from making mistakes, and you'll end up with higher returns and you'll end up with better performance. So one thing that was super valuable through the last crisis that most people don't talk about is, so I have multiple checklists. So I have a buy checklist and I have a sell checklist, but I also have a crisis management checklist. And the reason that people like Manish, I think, or Guy, don't talk about the items on their checklists is that if they look anything like mine, they're just highly personal. So they wouldn't be of value to you. So, you know, on my checklist, I'm like reminding myself to exercise and sleep. And, you know, if we're in a crisis, there's like all sorts of things that will impact you personally. And so I fortunately had this checklist from several years ago. And then as soon as we hit the crisis, you know, the pandemic, I was able to pull up my checklist and realize like the first thing is to do nothing, you know, take a breath, reevaluate the valuations of all of these businesses. If your thesis still holds, you just stay put. You know, great time to allocate capital when your amygdala is flowing and you're scared out of your mind. So go out and raise capital. Good time to remind your investors about what to do during this time. So I just, you know, I'll leave you with that thought of like creating these checklists for yourself, because if the event happens and you don't have the checklist, it's too late. You really need to do it beforehand. So people talk about their buy and sell checklists a little bit. And we also have a crisis management checklist, and that was very helpful during the crisis.